McLovin went and broke his face.
Fritzy, give the girl some space.
Paulie clearly has no game. They're the Danettes.
Seton is a kitty cat.
Take a fastball in the sack. For some reason, no one can do a simple high five. Punch a stud right in the jaw.
Then he puts it through the wall. Fritzy checked the line before the call.
The box score.
Starts right now!
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score. Welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock here in Los Angeles. As you can see, we're all one big happy family here. And the Danettes, who are all the way out there in Milford, Connecticut. Big news from the NCAA Tuesday as unlimited meals were approved for all athletes. Paul, you mentioned that this would have been dangerous back in your college days. How much weight would you have gained?
Well, you know what? I was real thin as a freshman. And the funny thing was, I had, like a college fund that my parents put together for me. So after dinner every night, I would eat a fourth meal almost nightly. I was notorious for it. If I had free food in college, I don't know what I would have done, but huge.
Seton, be careful when you go back to school. The freshman 15 might hit you again. The boss was in a giving mood, however, today on the show. He handed out tons of snacks to you guys to munch on during the show. Fritzy, is this kind of diet your doctor would frown upon as we see you indulge here?
Yeah, he wouldn't appreciate that at all, so we're going to have to keep this one under our hats. I think he'd rather me be having fruits and vegetables and exercising, but salty nuts and pretzels and candy bars probably not on the top of the gastroenterologist's list of things that I should be consuming.
Broccoli, I'm personally fascinated by Fritzy's eating and non-eating habits. I'm borderline going to have a research team follow him around. He does not eat breakfast and he does not eat lunch. Now, on the way home, I've got a lot of questions about that long drive home and where he stops. He will never, ever, ever give me an honest answer about it, so I don't know what to do.
So have you not consumed 1 calorie yet today?
Well, I had the candy bar and some
but did you have
pretzels,
lunch or breakfast?
But there are a lot of times when, foolishly, I'll skip breakfast and lunch, and then I'll have what would amount to a significant dinner. I got to space it out. Maybe these guys have gotten on me for that. Better to have 3, normal-sized meals than, starve all day and then have some huge meal in the evening. That's just not the way to do that.
Well, that's true, because if you wait, then you start getting messy when you eat. Fritzy, let's look at you finishing up your meal here. You seem to be having trouble finding tissues here. Has that ever been a problem for you before?
Usually I'm very prepared with those types of items. But those particular pretzels were very sticky and salty, and again, being no stranger to those situations. But when you're at work and you have to type and you got emails and you got business to conduct, it's a lot different than when you just kind of sprawled out in a hotel room or in the privacy of your own
we don't
house.
have the budget like other shows do. We can't afford just tons and tons of tissues around this place. Fritzy goes through them like tissues.
Oh, my. All this free food seemed to bring out the worst in some of you as McLovin and the boss decided to gang up on Seton.
I think Seton's physique is evidence that this plan might not work.
Can you believe he ran a marathon a couple of years ago?
I've run 2, thank you.
Well, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it.
Oh, well, all right there, Johnny Hardbody. Yeah,
hello?
Okay, sure.
Do you want to do take off our shirts for the nation?
No.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's
You're welcome, nation.
Yeah, the nation said no to no.
This is so funny because I don't know if you guys caught this earlier this morning. I walked into Dan's side of the glass, and Dan was shirtless. He was changing wardrobes. And I said, whoa, is that the kind of show we're going to have today? Then it came up later again today. And by the way, Seton, I apologize. That was a low blow. I think you have a fine body.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, we all know that you're kind of cocky right now because of your bench press. And so I'm going to let you ride that out because I can assure you this will come back to you at some point tenfold. So I'll just ride this one out. I'll take the lump today. It's no big deal.
All right, let's all keep our shirts on. Let's see where each of your vices lie. If this was the case in real life. Seaton, starting with you, would you rather have unlimited Doritos or whiskey?
Whiskey, no question. Not even close. I've sort of kicked my Doritos habit a little bit. I go bag here and there, but my whiskey habit is really just ramping up and gaining steam, so that would hit at the perfect time.
Well, McLovin, in the opening piece, you had a cup. So let me ask you, unlimited nuts or beef jerky, Nature Boy?
No, that's a tough call. What kind of nuts? Are we talking macadamia almonds? Are we talking macadamia nuts? Or those almonds that don't have the skin on the outside?
You have cashews and you mix it up with your nuts.
Yeah. Or are we talking like peanuts? Because you get those mixes,
nuts.
Brock. I could go on for a half hour with a different kind of mix. You get mixes. They're like, where are the cashews?
You're a big fan
Where are the
of
pistachios?
Your answer is making me nuts. Paulie, unlimited wings or barbecue?
Ooh, wow.
Holy
You
smokerinis.
went up and in on me.
But you could have barbecue wings.
Barbecue wings are chicken, and I like chicken when it's in a wing fashion. But barbecue, I love. I'm a meatitarian. I don't like to go through an entire day without eating meat. Barbecue.
That's an easy one for all of us. Oh, and finally, Fritzy, tough one here. Unlimited
Adult entertainment.
Unlimited, yes.
Go ahead.
There you go.
I'll let you give me the choices, though.
Well, it's the other one's gonna be a distant second. It was lo mein.
Ooh, I really enjoy my Chinese food and my pizza, but I can't quit that other stuff. I can find other things to eat at a different time, so I'm going to go with the questionable viewing materials every time.
Well, put a lid on the soy sauce here. We also wanted to get wanted the boss to get in on the action. Would he give up the Danettes if he could have unlimited beer? Let's see what he said in this edition of Boss's Thoughts.
I have unlimited beer. I don't have to give up the Danettes for that. I have to put up with the Danettes, but I have unlimited beer. I need unlimited beer to put up with the Danettes. Is that the question?
Well, I mean, okay, which is he going to give up, the Danettes or beer? Well, we don't stand a chance because there's no way he's giving up beer. But yeah, Dan's already got unlimited beer, and he sort of throws that at us all the time. So
when Dan asked me to work on the show back in '02, he invited me to his house. I'd never been to his house, and he's got a little bar downstairs. And back at the time, Dan, I think, was doing a sponsorship for Coors Light or something. And I go, I'll go get another beer. And I walked, and there was this refrigerator. It was 3 times the size of a normal refrigerator. It looked like a custom. I opened the door. It was like one of those commercials where, and I'm not kidding. I'm going to say 250 cans of Coors Light cold sitting there in a refrigerator. Fascinating.
I think you just described heaven. One former NCAA athlete went to Twitter to share his thoughts on the topic. Former Kentucky quarterback Jared Lorenzen said, I'll tell you what, the NCAA really lucked out that I didn't have any eligibility left. Paulie, should we be efforting him to get some real insight on the topic?
That would have been pretty funny. I think we're still trying to get Jared. He's playing quarterback somewhere in some third-tier arena football league, possibly in Canada or somewhere. But he's a legend for his size, and he was a pretty good ball player.
And camera-like quickness. Speaking of Mr. Lorenzen, let's take a look as the box score recently documented his comeback attempt into the world of football. This is J-Lo. Don't be fooled by the gun I got. This is Jared Lorenzen on the comeback trail. Go! Told him 5 yards, he's going 8. Left! No, post route!
Come on!
Yeah!
Get it! Go get it! Come on!
Yeah!
Come on!
Yeah!
Come on! Come on! Let's go!
Go! Best shape of my life, baby.
Come on, J-Lo! Come on! Come on! Come on, Yummy!
J-Lo's back. Welcome back to the box score. Paulie, you're usually the man who conducts things on the big board during the DP show look-ins, but we had a rare moment today as Fritzy went over to the TV screen and set up a video for the boss to look at. Paulie, Seton mentioned that you're usually hoping for the worst to happen when Fritzy has this kind of responsibility. Why is that?
It actually kind of 50-50. I win either way. If Fritzy does a good presentation of a comedic bit, everybody wins. If he totally blows it and whiffs, everybody wins. It was a bit, it was phallic related, it was a baseball related. It's all Fritzy's. That's his wheelhouse. I think it's good producing.
No, I'm glad he gave that to me. I had mixed feelings at first. I had some of those thoughts too because we know Paulie has that dark side, and he's the first one to admit that. I'm like, am I being set up for something? He knows I have like no technological skills. Something is going to be a disaster if I go anywhere near that board. That Paulie's so smooth at that, and I usually don't want any part of anything that involves buttons or technology.
That being said, it took like a half an hour to produce. Him in 2 days were going through it like Keystone Cops for a half an hour before they were able to hit play on a video.
It takes a little while.
Well, the Keystone Cops got a little bit back at the dark side of Paulie, as Fritzy probably loved every moment of what happened later in the show, because Paulie couldn't keep his mouth shut before we went to break.
Jay Glazer joins us next. Glazer's fired up about Jadeveon Clowney. Paulie, is that right?
Says he should be #1 overall for sure.
No, we were going to tease it, Paulie.
Oh, he says something about Jadeveon.
After the break.
There's no reason to have Clowney or Glazer on talking about Clowney.
All right.
I already know what he says.
Sorry.
Once again, Paulie the topper strikes again. I'm supposed to be the one that ruins surprises and says something out of line or out of turn. And this time, Paulie decided to do that. And he's the last person I would think that would have uttered that, knowing how big we are with the whole teasing thing and
Brock,
saving things for
sometimes things just
break.
go over your head, though. Like, you just don't realize what you're doing and you get lost in the moment. A rare time for Paulie.
Well, full admission, this was my moment. Remember the Seinfeld where Elaine is like George? He's got the glasses on and the frumpy clothes. I was actually looking at a questionable website with the picture of Johnny Manziel's girlfriend on it. And I was like, wow, look at this girl. We should put this up on the screen. Dan asked me some random question about Glazer. I'm like, oh, yeah, you think Clowney should be #1. So that was a total Fritzy moment, even what I was looking at on my website.
I was very proud of Paulie and what he was looking at, and I could understand why he was distracted at that particular time.
I don't know how you could take a Paulie loss and you turned it back upon yourself, Fritzy, and made yourself the victim. Very nice there. Okay, Fritzy also showed his mean side when he said the boss was losing some of his interview skills. McLovin, let me ask you, why would he say something like that?
Geez, Brock, I don't know, because I don't think Dan had an off moment in any interview. Why'd you go there?
He asked me a question, and I started wondering, why he asked me that, and I wasn't sure what I said or didn't say, and that was the first thing I could think of, and I responded. But Seton's got breaking box score news as to what exactly transpired there.
Well, considering that you just basically did what the news was that you had no idea what Dan was talking about. That's pretty much what you just did. So now, did you just top Paulie by giving away the whole bit
I was questioning my memories.
Todd had no idea what Dan was talking about and just went along with it because I don't really know why he goes along with this stuff, but he's not afraid to put himself in harm's way out of just saying, like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude.
Often during the breaks, Todd is working on something that has nothing to do with the show, or he's not paying attention to what's going on in the breaks. And Dan go, what do you think of that, Fritzy? Like, I think that's a good idea. And he could be saying, should we burn this place down and sell it for scrap metal? I think that's a positive thought.
I'm not sure that's what happened here, though. Because the question was very directed towards Fritzy.
I didn't understand out of the blue.
So did you tell Dan that...
Did you stand by it?
Did you tell Dan that he was losing something off his fastball?
No, I never said anything even remotely like that.
So when Dan asked about that, why did you agree with him?
Because I just thought that, I thought he was putting me on the spot and wanted to see what I would say to that, and I thought it would be a lot more interesting to come up with some type of criticism for him than to just say, I didn't say that, I don't know what you're talking about. There have been a number of times during the show and during commercial breaks where he'll say something, and then he's got me thinking, he's in my head. Did I say that? I must have said that. He's saying I said that, so I guess I did. Now I better have a
that clears that up.
It is funny though. Like we'll talk, off air with Dan about the show, and we'll be having like group meetings, and he'll be like, "Listen, whether it's the Look-Ins or the Dan Patrick Show or the Box Score, like just be honest, just be truthful, and like that, everything will take care of itself." And then Mr. Honest and Truthful all of a sudden fires off some random nonsense that you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Am I supposed to go along with this? And that's one of those moments where you're like, Fritzy never said you're losing anything off your fastball. What the hell are you talking about? What am I doing right
It
now?
was very strange. So
But the
I
funny
guess I
thing is,
said
like,
something. All right, so here you go. You
We
should
get a
have tightened
very
up Costas'
specific
comments.
criticism, yeah, that it was his
Yeah.
fault that Costas went on to
He
him.
put
All
me
of a
on the
sudden, yeah,
spot,
you're
and I'm
ripping
like,
Costas, Verducci, and Dan.
yeah, I
Great.
gave a little spanking to Dan and Bob Costas, which I'm going to live to regret that, I guess. But yeah, it was very strange because I definitely did not say anything about him losing something on his fastball or offer any kind of criticism of his interviewing skills until he brought it up, so I just kind of went with it.
Well, you seem to have maybe upset him a little bit, but he seemed really upset that the DP show has been sampled by a few other shows lately. Seton, how genuinely mad does this make the boss?
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, this is
you
not
have
fake.
it's really one of the major motivating factors of Dan still doing the show and wanting to keep being bigger and better than ever, if I can borrow someone there too. Yeah, he gets super pissed when he sees people steal things. And now it's getting down to it depends on what color paper people are using. And they're like, this is bull. They're stealing our paper. It's everything. He notices everything.
They're stealing our paper.
We were able to uncover some rare photos of the man cave before its makeover. Paulie, walk us through this, please.
Yeah, this has been empty for 20 years. This was a dance studio, and that's like an old refrigerator. That's what it looks like now. Here's the other side, Dan's side, and the other side of the glass. Just some random furniture and bad wood, holes in the roof. There's what it looks like now. Then the box, which is nice and comfortable, used to have a hot water heater and holes in the wall and no floor. Much better. And then the dining table hasn't changed that much, but there's no dead animals under the table now.
Maybe under Fritzy's desk. Check. What happened to that awesome boat there?
I think the owner of the building put it back in his studio back there, his little office back there, or I stole it and took it home.
Yeah,
One of the
that
other.
or it's in your garage.
Yeah, one or the other. I'm not sure.
Going to Volley Productions there. Okay, coming up, we'll quiz the Danettes on some strange but true NBA facts. Keep it right here.
I'm going to tell you why allowing the four Danettes to have their own show, The Box Score. Do these guys really know anything about sports? Yeah, sure. Paulie and Seton are always on their computer looking up stuff. But do they really know anything about sports? Come on now, be serious.
Welcome back to the Box Score. The fifth Danette, Reggie Miller, taking a shot at you guys right there. Well, today marks the end of the NBA regular season, and more than $1 million of fines have been handed out for various odd violations. We thought we'd quiz you guys on some of the wacky things players have been fined for. Ready? Great. Here we go. Let's start with Paulie. True or false? J.R. Smith of the Knicks was fined $50,000 for repeatedly untying his opponent's shoelaces.
First, I want to say to Reggie Miller, if you want to go for a sports trivia contest, I'll treat you like Jordan did. Secondly, true, he did get fined 50 grand for that.
That's true on both counts. You absolutely. Treat him like a little girl. Okay, next question for McLovin. True or false? DeMarcus Cousins was fined $3 grand for eating nachos on the bench during a game against the Lakers.
Wow, that does sound like DeMarcus Cousins, doesn't it? Nachos readily available in Sacramento. Which kiosk can we get those at? I'm gonna say true.
So you were incorrect. It was false. No with the nachos. Seton, true or false? Miami's Chris Bosh was fined $40,000 for repeatedly screaming into a referee's face during a game.
Using that dinosaur face, too. And firstly, I would like to say to Reggie Miller, I take no offense to that, because I prove on a daily basis I know nothing about sports. And I'm sorry, Paul, that you've been tracked down by me. And I'm going to say true. God, I hope that is an accurate fine. 40 grand is a lot of money.
I'm sorry, it was false. True or false, Fritzy? Nets coach Jason Kidd was fined 50 grand for intentionally spilling soda on the court.
Ooh, I think I remember that story. I'm going to say, because I remember he was getting criticism for being totally lost as a coach early in the season, and I think he did in fact spill soda to try to either get an extra timeout or just stall the game when he didn't have any timeout stuff. I'm going to say that is true.
It was true, and hopefully he was able to find tissues much like you do when you're in a hotel room. Let's go back to Seton. It's that man again, J.R. Smith, who was fined $25,000 for threatening an opponent on Twitter. Is that true or false?
Ooh. Jeepers creepers. That really could be true. Although, so far the two true ones I definitely remember happening, and the other ones I'm like, I don't remember that. I'm gonna say false.
I'm sorry, that was true. Don't mess with Brandon Jennings or American Airlines. McLovin, true or false, Raymond Felton was $60,000 lighter in the wallet after punching the team's mascot during an intermission.
I seem to remember a very serious Raymond Felton headline, and I don't think that's what it was. I'm gonna guess false.
Correct, it was false. He also faked a punch to Spike Lee and Woody Allen. Paulie, true or false, Andrew Bogut was fined $10,000 after he told an NBA official his wife smelled like cabbage.
Cabbage? Wow, that's a popular European dish. God, I love Andrew Bogut. I love the Warriors. I'm gonna say false. No, I don't think it happened.
You were correct. It was false. But research says that perhaps she did smell like cabbage. Finally, Fritzy,
I don't know.
Andre Blatch of the Nets was
Australian.
fined the cool $15,000 for doing something called the big balls dance on the bench. True or false, Fritzy?
I thought Paulie may have worked that into one of our look-ins or one of our show opens. I'm going to say that he did in fact get fined for doing the big balls dance.
That is correct.
Clearly someone's reenacting the big
Great
balls.
job as always,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
table.
No one do that dance for us, please. Coming up, we'll head to the bar as we wrap up things here on the box score. Bartender. Welcome back to the box score. Last call here at the box score bar, which strangely smells like cabbage. Bob Costas joined us today and said he was asked about his pink eye so often since the Olympics that it's basically a version of the question, how's the weather up there? Seton, do you feel bad for Bob, or does he deserve it since he wins Emmys with his eyes closed by pink eye?
Well, I mean, I get that that's probably really annoying and that sucks, but no, I don't feel bad for Bob Costas at all, for absolutely no reason.
It's hard to
pretty much got it made.
It's hard to feel sorry for someone who missed a couple days of their 9th Olympics.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, take out the tissues. No, not you, Fritzy. Okay, another guest who had a more serious medical issue, Jay Glazer, also back today. Paulie, how long was he in the hospital, and were you guys concerned?
He was in for a couple weeks, and then he got out, and then he was going to come on the show last week. We've been keeping in touch, and he called me. He goes, I'm back in the hospital. I overdid it and had to go right back in. I don't think Jay's an exaggerator. I actually started my career at CBS with Jay as my boss, and so I've known him for quite a long time. And the last thing is he likes to talk a lot, but not lie. And he's like, man, they kept telling me I was in real danger. So it was serious, and he's not exaggerating. So it was a pretty tense situation. It's great to have him back on the show. I almost consider him kind of like part of the show. He feels like a guy who, like Rich Eisen, who's kind of part of our family.
Yeah, I was worried about the guy too, because he'll check in with the show periodically if he's got some scoop, and we weren't getting any of those, or at least I wasn't getting any of those texts or calls or emails about, hey, you might want to consider having me on because I got this info about this team or this player, and I've had my share of medical issues, so I was very concerned about him, and I'm glad. It was good to hear his voice, and it was great having him back on the show, and I'm glad he's back on his feet.
We're all glad Jay's feeling better because it might lead to more moments like this. Seton getting shellacked in the octagon. Oh. Seton, are you looking forward to more pain from Glazer in the future?
I'm choking somebody, I'm busy.
Well, I don't want to put the guy in the hospital again, especially when it was so serious. But as McLovin and Dan were kind enough to point out, I have been bulking up, getting ready for round 2 versus Glazer, which I'm happy to do anytime. And so I'm well into starting my training here, and right now I'm just sort of accumulating mass, and then I'm going to redistribute at some point around my body.
Redistribute.
Maybe some Doritos would help with the weight gain. Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray will join us off his pro day and see where he thinks he's going to get picked in the NFL draft. Hall of Famer Johnny Bench from the Big Red Machine will stop by, and our friend NFL Network host Rich Eisen will be part of things on Thursday as well.
Sounds awesome. Thanks for watching the box score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern only on Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Cheers.
I don't know a
lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!